Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Soligenix's channel. We're, of course, sitting here once again with Dr. Christopher Shaber, CEO of the company. Previously, we dove into his past and heard how he got involved and touched on the company a little bit, but today we want to go just a little bit deeper. Chris, are you ready to get into it?
Absolutely, Michael. Thanks for having me.
Great to have you back on. So yeah, first and foremost, imagine I have very limited knowledge about pharmaceuticals in any way, shape, or form, but I'm a curious investor. I'm looking at getting involved. Give me an elevator pitch.
You know, Soligenix is a late clinical stage biopharmaceutical company focused on developing and commercializing products to treat rare diseases in areas of unmet medical need. And so a clear focus, but I think what's unique about our company is we have a two-segment business. We have one segment that's called Specialized Biotherapeutics that's focused in oncology and inflammation, and a separate public health solutions business segment funded entirely by the US government, focus on medical countermeasures for civilian and military applications, including a COVID-19 vaccine, which is in early preclinical stages.
Okay, so looking at this from the investor point of view, you're in multiple areas here. You're not all bet on one thing.
No. Would it help? I could share a pipeline visual that maybe gives the listeners a little bit more and viewers a little bit more perspective.
Perfect. Yeah.
So here is that visual of the rare disease pipeline I spoke of, our development pipeline. As I noted, Specialized Biotherapeutics is that top segment, that top half, and Public Health Solutions is the bottom half. And as I noted, all our programs are orphan and or fast track designated. That means they're in areas of unmet medical need where they need additional therapy. So as you can see, we have quite a bit of those in our pipeline. But I think what's intriguing and what I'm showing you these green highlighted arrows. These are programs funded in part or entirely by the government. Public Health Solutions funded entirely by the government. And what that funding has allowed us to do is really not only advance very good technology, but build out a more robust pipeline than you would typically see for a company our size, with multiple shots on goal to mitigate risk, a lot like a financial portfolio. And it's very intriguing that since I've been building out this pipeline that you see here, we've probably brought in excess of $60 million of non-dilutive government funding. So as you would imagine, that money goes a long way to advancing and building out a pipeline like you see today. And our lead program here at the top is Hybrid. This is a topical synthetic hypericin. That's the active ingredient name of the drug. And it's used to treat cutaneous T-cell lymphoma, which are cancerous lesions on the skin. And you apply this topical agent to the lesions on the skin, and then you activate it via a proprietary light device, which is safe visible fluorescent light, to essentially shrink and remove the cancerous lesions on the skin. And this isn't a cure. There's no cure for this disease. So you treat it, it goes away, it comes back again, and you manage it. You want to manage it in the early stages of disease, where luckily a majority of these patients are, in excess of 90% of the CTCL patients are early stage. And why I point this particular program out is because we've already completed a phase 3 study, which is the study required typically for registration and filing with the US Food and Drug Administration. So we're now in the process of putting together a new drug application to advance this product with the FDA for potential approval. And as you see at the very top of this line here, we have phases, right? We have the preclinical phase, phase 1, phase 2, phase 3. And this is as you advance your programs, every step of the way, you're de-risking your program a little bit more, right? As you get further out. So as you see, we have a number of programs that have been de-risked along the way, but with Hybrid, we've now de-risked it past the pivotal phase 3 study, where we're now filing that new drug application. So a lot of risk mitigation, even in the phase of development, in addition to the robust pipeline.
Interesting. So then how much with this fast track designation, as you're targeting things that need answers now in the general population in relation to these, how much does that really speed it up?
It varies, to be honest. During the development process, the FDA will interact with you more frequently, typically with orphan and fast track products where there's an unmet medical need. And really during the review, the new drug application or NDA review is really where it speeds up a bit. It's because along with fast track, you get what's known as a priority review, which can be 6 to 8 months review, versus a traditional review, which can be sometimes in excess of well past 12 months. So it does accelerate the process to potential approvability for these programs or these drugs that are designated orphan or fast track.
All right, Christopher. Well, that was really enlightening walking through the pipelines and the two verticals you guys mainly have there. But turning it back to the financials and like the stock health of the company, how are things currently sitting?
We're sitting quite nicely. As of our last public filing, we have over $29 million of cash. That's separate from that non-dilutive government funding that we receive. A relatively clean cap structure, no preferred stock, no warrants. So those familiar with warrants a lot of times realize that those warrants are similar to stock, only they have designated prices that can potentially investors could call those warrants in. So sometimes it creates a little bit of an overhang or pressure on your stock. So right now where we are, we have roughly 60,000 warrants out there. That's it. So relatively clean and a clear path forward for us. That cash brings us into 2023. And that's separate from, as I said, any of the non-dilutive funding that we have or may receive in the future potentially, as well as any other activities we have going on, like business development.
Yeah. Well, Chris, I feel like you did a really good job of explaining to people what really separates your company from other ones in the industry. We've walked through your financials. We've walked through a lot of it now. So I guess last but not least, is there any big X factors coming up this year? What should people really be looking out for from you guys?
I think we have the good thing with that type of pipeline we have is you have a lot of news flow, a lot of potential value drivers. And in our corporate presentation, we do outline those specifics by halves through 2022 and 2023. And as you look towards 2022, obviously it's that new drug application filing for hybrid and cutaneous T-cell lymphoma. That will be filed a little bit later this year in the second half. And then that has that priority review into 2023. And then with our other programs, we have a number of preclinical and or clinical data reads across the pipeline, both not only in the specialized biotherapeutics, but also on the public health side. And I think those are very telling and help to build momentum and advance the programs forward.
Perfect. Well, Dr. Shaber, it sounds like we have a lot of stuff we're going to get into over the course of this, a lot of interesting milestones. Everybody, don't be afraid to check out the website. The link is below. Let us know if you have any questions and stay tuned for more videos coming soon. Any closing words, Doc?
No, Michael, thank you again. And, happy to outline the pipeline for you. And maybe just to let the viewers, listeners know that we do have a lot of information on our website. So you can find a lot of good updates and information there if you want to go to www.soligenix.com.